So, guys, before starting again, very beautiful quotes here. Everything you have ever wanted is on the other side of fear. So, guys, always try to chase your dream, run after your dream, and never be fearful to achieve your dreams. So, with these beautiful quotes, let's begin with our lecture. So, guys, today we'll talk about the relevant national bodies like APEDA, BIS, EIC, MPEDA, Spice Board. So there were, I guess, 4 to 5 questions which were asked in year 2019 in pre-examination. So guys, this part is important, but I mean, very basic questions would be asked. So whatever we are covering in this lecture, so even though if you just read those points, you will be able to attempt this part 100% for sure. And guys, a lot of things, these are just factual points. I mean, these are just facts. You need not to put your brain into this. Just go through it and remember a few points, and definitely you would be able to attempt the question if at all asked in the exam, right? So guys, first we'll talk about APEDA. So if you see, APEDA is nothing but it's Agriculture Products Export Development Authority. So all the products which are related to agriculture, or I'll also show you few of the products which are controlled by APEDA, but its major function, if you see, it's the Export Development Authority. So it ensures all those products which come under the purview of this body, it they ensure that those products are exported in a proper way according to the guidelines, according to the standards, right? So that they have acceptance in the international market. So a few things you need to remember here is its headquarters are in New Delhi, and it comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Right. So now we'll talk about APEDA in detail. Also, the most important part is you should remember its function and also what APEDA does. Right. That basically covers into function. So if you see, the full form of APEDA is Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority. So all the agricultural products as well as the processed food products export development means it ensures that conducive conditions are available for exporting these products, because foreign markets are really competitive, and foreign governments are very strict when it comes to import. So our Indian government, they ensure that all the food products which reach the foreign markets, they are complying with their standards, international standards, so that the consignment does not get rejected, right? So this body was established by Government of India. So under the Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority Act, passed by the Parliament in 1985. So this act was passed, for example, FSSAI Act was passed in 2006. So similarly, Agricultural and Processed Food Export Development Act was passed by the Parliament in December 1985, and this body replaced. So before APEDA, there was another body which was known as PFEPC, that is Processed Food Export Promotion Council. So that was just a promotion council. So it used to promote the export of these products. But now if you see, it's a Export Development Authority. So when we move to the functions, you will get to know how it is helping in the development of the exports food product, right? If you see the functions, so this is just the brief. There's a whole list of functions, so I'll cover that in our coming slides. So if you see, its major function is to development of industries relating to the scheduled products for export by the way of providing financial assistance. So it also provides financial assistance for the exporters who wants to export in the foreign markets, and undertaking survey and feasibility study. So it's a self-explanatory point. It also helps the sellers. It conducts the survey in the market whether there is a demand for this product in the market, and also the feasibility study. So whether for example, if any food producer, he wants to sell it in US market, so it would give it, this body would help him conduct the survey. So whether there is acceptability of this product in the US market, whether it is feasible to sell this product in the market, or whether there is a lot of competition, right, in that market. So if there is a lot of competition, then it's not a feasible move, right? So it helps in conducting the survey and feasibility study. And also capital through joint ventures and other reliefs and subsidy schemes. And also it provides various capital through joint ventures. So it helps in PPP model, that is private partnership, a public private partnership model, PPP model, so that through joint venture capital can be generated. Capital means, for example, your manufacturing unit, someone has to manufacture, product on a larger scale, so it will help in capital development, buying the machinery and all those things, right? So if you see, it also is responsible for registration of a person as an exporter for the scheduled products. So what are the scheduled products? We'll do it on in our next slide. So it also helps in registration of the person of for as an exporter. As you know, FSSAI provides license as well as it provides registration to the small vendors. So similarly, if any person wants to export in foreign markets, they need to register with the APEDA. And it is also responsible for fixing of standards specification for the scheduled products for the purpose of export. So as you know, FSSAI has set up various standards for all food products. So similarly, whichever food product needs to be exported into foreign markets, so APEDA is the nodal agency or the nodal body which fixes the standards and specification of the product, right? And also carrying out the inspection of the meat and meat products in slaughterhouses, processing plants, storage premises, conveyance and other places where such products are kept and handled for the purpose of ensuring the quality. And also guys, if you see, apart from FSSAI food safety officers or audit agencies which are appointed by FSSAI, even APEDA, if you see, it carry out the inspection of the meat and meat products in the slaughterhouses. And guys, remember, this is purely for exports purpose. So whichever food is sold in India, that is the responsibility of FSSAI. But here, don't get confused here, because here the meat and meat products in slaughterhouses is inspected only if those slaughterhouses are responsible for exporting it to the foreign markets, right? So also processing plants, storage premises, and all this for the export purpose, and improving the packaging of the scheduled products. So even it is also, it gives guidelines for the packaging, similarly as FSSAI gives guidelines for packaging regulations in Indian market for the food to be sold in Indian market. So similarly, they give guidelines for packaging, the way of packaging, labeling and everything for the export market. And improving marketing of this scheduled product outside India. Yes, as I said, APEDA is completely responsible for marketing of these products outside India, not in India. And promotion of export oriented products. So guys, just remember these points, because there is no way out. I mean, these are just facts, right? FSSAI can ask any of these functions, so these are just factual. Just go through it and just try to remember as much points as you can. And also it imparts training in various aspects. As you know, even FSSAI imparts training under FOSTEC program, right? So similarly, APEDA, they conduct training programs for all the export houses. And also, if you see, APEDA also functions as a secretariat of National Accreditation Board for implementation and accreditation of certification bodies under NPOP. So guys, if you have attended my class on we have conducted, I was conducting the class on initiatives, right? Various initiatives that FSSAI has taken. So in that, we read about Javik Bharat. So now you remember, there was one of the program under which organic certification can be obtained. That is National Program for Organic Production, NPOP. So that certification is the body which provides certification for the NPOP for the organic product, that is further accredited by with APEDA. Right. So APEDA functions as a secretariat to the National Accreditation Board for implementation of the accreditation of certification bodies under NPOP. So just remember, there is a link here, Javik Bharat logo, since it's an agriculture product. So also APEDA is responsible for agriculture products, right? So NPOP certification is provided by APEDA. So now guys, let's read in detail what are scheduled products. So since we have read that APEDA is responsible for exports, promotion, marketing, packaging, training for all these scheduled products. So now we'll read about what are these scheduled products. So if you see fruits, vegetables and their products, then it's floriculture products, herbal and medicinal products, plants, then meat and meat products, then poultry and poultry products. And again, guys, these are purely for exports. They have nothing to do with Indian market. These products are purely for exports. And dairy products and confectionery and biscuit and bakery products, honey, jaggery, sugar products, cocoa and its product, chocolate of all kinds, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, cereal products, groundnut, peanuts, walnuts, and pickles, papad, chutney, guar gum, even basmati rice. Right. And also, if you see, in addition to this, APEDA has been entrusted with the responsibility of monitoring of import. Guys, now here is a catch. So for all these products, they are responsible for exporting. But when it comes to the sugar, they are also given the responsibility of, when sugar is imported. So they are the guys who are responsible for monitoring the import of sugar. So this is an exception. Just remember, APEDA is responsible purely from exports point of view. But when it comes to import of sugar, so APEDA comes into play. So APEDA's role start in import of the sugar. Right. So guys, these are a few of the functions which you need to remember, and also these scheduled products, because these are factual and you need to have factual knowledge as well. So FSSAI can directly ask, they can give you few products and you have to choose the right answer, right? Since the question would be MCQ paper, so you need to remember all this. So guys, here last time even one of the question was asked from the administrative setup. So last time, I guess if I'm not wrong, so it was asked, the question was, who appoints the director of APEDA? So options were central government and it is appointed by APEDA, or FSSAI. So the right answer was appointed by APEDA. Right. So now, if you see, the administrative setup is very, very simple. So there is a chairman, there's a director, there's a secretary, and other officers and staff. So just remember, this chairman of APEDA is appointed by central government, right? And director, if you see, director is appointed by APEDA itself, and secretary is appointed by central government, and other staffs, they are appointed by the APEDA, that is appointed by the authority. So just remember four of these points and nothing else, because when you go on APEDA's website, there is a lot of information. I mean, complete administrative setup is given, but you need to remember only these major points, right? So just remember chairman, director, secretary, and other staff and officers, right? So just remember these points. That's it. So guys, that's all about APEDA. So just remember functions, its setup, and why this body was formed, and its administrative setup. Only these points, nothing else. And now coming to BIS. So again, I mean, you would have even there is a lot of advertisement in TV channels about BIS certification. So again, its headquarters are in New Delhi, and it comes under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. So guys, these are important points. Even you need to remember their headquarters and also under which ministry they come, right? So now, Bureau of Indian Standards. So guys, BIS, if I give you a general overview, so this body is responsible for giving certification to number of products. I mean, you can see their hallmark on jewelry, even on gold, and I mean, even on some electronic gadgets, and even the water that we drink. I mean, they have a wide array of products for which they provide certification. So I'll give you a small brief about how BIS came into force. So before BIS, there was Indian Standards Institution. So even today, you might have seen ISI mark, right? So if you go and check the water bottle, on most of the water bottle, ISI mark is given. Even on your, the basic, if you go to your kitchen, right? All the cylinders, all the stoves, all those have ISI marks, right? So even your electronic gadgets, on electronic gadget, you might see BIS mark, not ISI. I mean, yeah, few of them has, right? So just look around your house, you will find a lot of products with these hallmarks and certifications, right? So the story is, first of all, there was Indian Standard Institution, which came into being on 6th January 1947. So during our just before our independence, right? So then BIS came into existence through an act of the parliament, which was passed on 26 November 1986. So BIS came into existence in 1926, but then BIS now it acts as a national statutory body of India established under BIS Act 2016. So this body came into being in 1986, but in 2016, recently BIS Act was passed, so that it helps for the harmonious development of activities of standardization, marking, and quality certification of goods. So now, if you see, earlier it was ISI institution, then there was BIS. So they were working parallelly. But then in 2016, they just made BIS as a national standard body. So ISI only gives few certifications, but it comes under the purview of BIS now. So now it has become a national standard body, and which helps in the activities of standardization, marking, and quality certification of goods. And also, if you see jewelry and at your house, all the gold bangles or other, things of gold, you would definitely see BIS hallmark. So now, if you see, guys, the major function which it carries out is that is standard formulation. So it uh, formulates various standards. For example, if you see the mobile charger, right? On even on mobile charger, you might see BIS hallmark or ISI hallmark. So they formulate various standards, so that charger size should be such that it should be AC or DC. I mean, all the standards as per the product. Then also product certification scheme. So it also gives product certification. So certification, it helps in the sale of the product, because it means that these products are certified, these products are genuine, right? It increases the genuinity, and further it helps in gaining the confidence of the buyer. And also, if you see compulsory registration scheme, so all the sellers, they need to register with this body so that they can get a registration certificate, and this further adds to the authenticity of the product. And because when they register, they have to follow certain rules and regulations, they have to follow certain standards which are set by this body, right? So even registration helps in adding the value to their product, it increases their sellability and all those things. And also, if you see foreign manufacturer certification scheme, so if foreign manufacturers, they want to sell it in India, for example, if you see Oppo mobiles or any Chinese mobiles, although they sell it from foreign country, or they set up their manufacturing hub in India, but they have to follow these standards, right? So even they come under the purview of BIS. So foreign manufacturer certification scheme. And hallmarking scheme. So hallmarking scheme is basically on the jewelry that you see, right? Gold jewelry or other kind of jewelry. So hallmarking, even on silver products. So there's a BIS hallmark. So they also provide hallmarks and further laboratory services, because, for example, whenever there is a they need to set up few standards for gold, for example. So they would provide the laboratory services for all the manufacturers, so that they can get their products certified only after they are being tested in these labs. I mean, these are just basic points, so just go through it. And now, guys, the important part is just remember the composition of this governing council of the BIS. So if you see in the governing council, there are 27 members, but the important four are given on your screen. So just remember these things. If you see the president, so the president of BIS is Minister of Consumer Affairs, Foods and Public Distribution System, Government of India. Right. So he is the president. And if you see the vice president, so he is the Minister of State. If you see, he is the minister, and he is the Minister of State of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution System. He is the vice president of BIS. And if you see the secretary, so secretary of the Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, he is the member ex officio. And Director General of BIS, he is the member ex officio. So just remember these positions and what are their positions basically, right? So these are important from BIS point of view. So now, guys, let's talk about MPEDA. So now, if you see MPEDA, like APEDA, we have done in our first slide. So similarly, there is MPEDA. MPEDA is responsible for Marine Product Export Development Authority. So its headquarters are in Cochin, in Kerala. Right. So majority of the body, they have their headquarters in Delhi, but MPEDA, it has its headquarters in Cochin, Kerala. So it comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So remember these 3 points. It's very, very important. And also, if you know the definition, even then you can attempt the question in the examination, because last time majority of the question candidates, they had no idea about the this because in exam it was given APEDA or MPEDA. So whoever knows even the definition, they can attempt the question very easily, right? So this body is majorly responsible for the export development of the marine products. So now let's talk about the MPEDA. So Marine Products Export Development Authority was set up by the Act of Parliament during 1972. The erstwhile, so before this body, it replaced this body. Its name was Marine Product Export Promotional Council. So now it is Development Authority. Earlier it was Promotion Council, like APEDA, right? So now it in 1972 it replaced this body by establishment of the established by Government of India. So this was established by Government of India in 1961, but in 1972 MPEDA replaced this body and now converged into MPEDA on 24th August 1972. So now they work in conjunction, but this is only the body which is on the forefront. Right. So now moving to the next slide. So this body helps in development and augment the resources required for promoting export of all the varieties of fishery products. So guys, MPEDA, as you know, marine products and exports development. So now here again, we are talking only from export point of view, and MPEDA is responsible for exporting the marine products. If you see, these are shrimps, then prawns, then lobsters, then crab, fish, shellfish, and other aquatic animals and plants. So whatever is related with the marine products, right? All the products which are, whoever exports these products, so it is mandatory for them to obtain the registration from MPEDA. Only after that they can export all these marine products into the foreign market, because again, if you see, foreign market have particular standards, right? Because US market, European market, these are very, very competitive, and they want all the import products to adhere to particular standards. So now if you see MPEDA, it similar to APEDA, it also helps in promoting, then finding the new, conducting the surveys, then feasibility studies. So functions would be almost similar. If you see, the act empowers MPEDA to regulate export of marine products and take measures required for ensuring sustained quality seafood export from the country. Because recently, if you would have read in news, so majority of these developed countries, they export the shipment of the fish. For example, you might have read about aquaculture, right? So majority of the aquaculture farmers, they feed a lot of antibiotics to this fish. So now these foreign countries, they never allow the fish consignment which is treated by antibiotics in their country, because antibiotic at the end of the day, it is very, very dangerous, because it ultimately, when we eat a fish, it comes into our body. So there is an antimicrobial resistance, right? So now antibodies, if these fishes are treated with antibody, high amount of antibody, so these foreign countries, they refuse to take that shipment in their country. So now MPEDA, it conducts various activities, it conducts various training programs to treat all the farmers and all the fishermen who are associated with fishing, so that whenever they export their products, those are not rejected. And further, if you see, it is also empowered to carry out the inspection of marine products. So they carry out the inspection of all the marine products, its raw material. It also fixes standards, specification, and other training, as well as it take all necessary steps for marketing the seafood overseas. Again, guys, this is purely related to exports. FSSAI is responsible for all the food which is sold in India, but they are responsible for all the marine food which is sold overseas in the foreign market. So if you see, it would take the inspection of these marine products, their raw material, it would fix standards, it would provide training, and it would also helps in marketing this seafood overseas. Right. And further, if you see the major functions, the major function is a registration of infrastructural facility for the seafood export trade. So it helps in registration of the infrastructure that facilitates the seafood export, foreign export trade. Then also collection and dissemination of trade information. See, as I told you, so they would collect all the information from the foreign countries, then they would provide it to the sellers, so that whenever they approach any foreign market, they should have a substantial data So that data would help them to, get a proper study so that they can market their product smartly, they can place their product in the market smartly, and they can compete with the local vendors or the local sellers who are present in the export market. Right. And also further, if you see promotion of Indian marine products in the overseas market, yeah, definitely. Whenever, if the body's name is, in the body's name only, if there is export, so it is definitely helps in promotion of the products in the overseas market, and also implementation of scheme vital for industry for extending assistance for infrastructure development for better preservation and modernization processing. So guys, if you see these seafood, right, be it fish, shrimps, or be it any seafood product, these are they fall under high risk category product. So for high risk category product, proper preservation techniques, and then proper temperature has to be maintained, because whenever you export to US or Europe, it can take months or even weeks. So proper preservation techniques must be in place. So this body, it helps in providing the proper infrastructure so that during the transportation the food does not get spoiled, and also it provides modernized processing techniques. And further, if you see promotion of aquaculture for augmenting export production through hatchery development and new farm development. So it also helps new farmers in development of hatchery. And further, if anyone wants support for setting up a new aquaculture farm, so it also provide support for those, and also for diversification of species. If some farmer are into fish aquaculture, if tomorrow they also want to start shrimp aquaculture, so they help in this body helps these farmers to diversify their portfolio, right? And further, if you see promotion of deep sea fishing project through test fishing, joint ventures, and upgradation installation of equipment. This is a self-explanatory point. So it helps whoever the farmers which go to the deep fishing into the sea, it provide them assistance through joint ventures and also installation of the latest equipments. Further, market promotion activities and publicity, then impart training to fishermen. So this is very, very important. Impart training to fishermen, fish processing workers, aquaculture farmers, and other stakeholders in respect of their field related to fishery and promotion of moderation fishery harbors. So further, if you see, they also conduct research and development for aquaculture of aquatic species having export potential through Rajiv Gandhi Center of Aquaculture. So guys, just remember these points, because direct question would come, they would just copy paste this line, so you need to remember these lines, right? So again guys, last time a question was asked from netfish, so no one anticipated that they might ask question from netfish. But that was a very, very basic question. Even if you have a basic the knowledge of MPEDA, so you would definitely attempt this question. So netfish, I'll speak about netfish in my next slide. So if you see, it also conduct extension and awareness activities. So netfish is a very, very interesting project, so we'll talk about this in next slide. So MPEDA, it conducts awareness activities and training through network of fish quality management and sustainable fishing. So netfish definition is network for fish quality management and sustainable fishing, and National Center for Sustainable Aquaculture. So through these two bodies, MPEDA, they conduct various awareness activities and training programs, and also to prescribe to itself any matter. So you can just skip this point, not at all important. So now, guys, let's talk about netfish. So in previous exam, a question was asked, although it was not anticipated at all. So if you see netfish, so netfish, guys, it undertakes very, very interesting activities to spread awareness about aquaculture or promoting fisheries. So if you see, netfish is a society formed in 2006 under the aegis of MPEDA. That is, it's located in Kochi. So this body, netfish, it comes under the purview of MPEDA. So netfish is nothing but the extension arm of MPEDA that helps in improving the quality of fishery products exported from the country. So again, they are also responsible for improving the quality of the products, aquaculture products, which are exported from the country, and the sustainability of fishery resources. And also they spread training, awareness about how the fishery a market can be made further sustainable by using good practices. For example, using good fishery practices, not wasting the fish material whatsoever, right? So, and further, if you see, the major objective of the net fish is to empower fisheries sector by imparting knowledge to fishermen, fisherwomen, processing workers, technicians, and other stakeholders of the fish quality management, conservation of fish resources, and sustainable fishing. So ultimately, they help in ensuring that the whole chain of the fishery market, which is for the export, that is sustainable. If you see, the chairperson of MPEDA is the president of Netfish. So again, this question can be asked: the chairperson of MPEDA is president of Netfish. So just remember this point. They can definitely ask this question. And the CEO is the officer in charge of the organization of Netfish, right? So if you see, they conduct very interesting activities. So if you see, these organizes grassroots level capacity building programs among fishermen and all the stakeholders, thereby changing the mindset towards fish quality management. And also various NGOs have been selected as a member of the Netfish. So if you see, they spread the message more efficiently among the beneficiaries. A variety of special programs like street plays. So if you see, they conduct. Hello, guys, is my voice audible? Hello, can you hear me, guys? Okay, thank you. I hope things are clear with you, because these are very interesting topic and very simple topic. Even if you give a single reading to this, you would be able to attempt any question, right? Fine. So guys, if you see, Netfish, it conducts very interesting activities like street plays, then cleanup drives, then mass communication program, then school children program, medical camps, rallies, and all these are organized by Netfish on need basis, right? So I mean, Netfish activities are really interesting. And further, if you see, Netfish through its harbor data collector is obtaining the data on the boat arrivals and fish catch. So also, they ensure through the harbor data collection, so all the fish that leave the coast, and also all the fish that reach the coast, and how much fish they catch. So all this data is recorded by the Netfish, right? So now moving ahead. So yeah, so now guys, we'll talk about the Spice Board of India. So if you see, Spice Board is it's a flagship organization for the development and worldwide promotion of Indian spices. So the another body which is important is the Spice Board of India. So it comes under the Government of India and is a flagship organization for the development and worldwide promotion of Indian spices. So the board is the international link between Indian exporters and importers abroad. I mean, again, it's a self-explanatory point, right? Since we are talking about the exporters and all this. So similarly, Spice Boards, it again, if you will see that it helps in connecting all the Indian exporters with the foreign buyers, and providing them the surveys and other activities, so that we can further increase the export activities, and we can adhere to the certain foreign standards, so that our shipments do not get rejected. So the board has been spearheading activities for excellence of Indian spices involving every segment of industry. The board has made quality and hygiene the cornerstone of its development and promotional activities. I mean, quality and hygiene are the basic cornerstones. I mean, these are the basic requirements which the foreign countries are very much into it, right? So now, if you are selling all the spices into foreign, and also guys, the demand for Indian spices is very high in foreign markets, right? So India is a spice hub of the world. So now, whenever we are exporting these spices, that is why the Spice Board came into being, so that we can match those standards, right? So we can maintain those standards for which we are known for. So if you see, Spice Board, it is majorly responsible for promotion of exports of spices and spices products, then maintenance and monitoring the quality of all these spices which are exported, and then further development and implementation of better quality production methods through scientific, technological, and economical research. So they provide various methods which can be implemented to improve the quality of these spices which are exported by scientific study, by technological support, and economical support. Then also it guides the farmers on getting higher and better quality yield through scientific agriculture practices. I mean, yeah, to get a better yield from a smaller field, so they need further scientific backup, right? So scientists, they help all these farmers to increase the yield so that they can make profits in the foreign market and they can compete in the foreign market with the other buyers. And also it provides financial and material support to the growers, right? And also if you see, it also encourage organic production and exports of spices. Organic is in fashion, so definitely they are trying to leverage this opportunity, and they are encouraging organic production so that they have high demand in the foreign market. And also facilitating infrastructure. So infrastructure is important at the end of the day, and infrastructure requires a lot of capital, a lot of money. So they helps in infrastructure development and value addition chain. Also registration and licensing of all these spice exporters, and assistance of studies and research on better processing practices, foolproof quality management system, improving guidance, grading method, and effective packaging technique. I mean, yeah, again, these would just help these exporters to compete in the foreign market, right? So improving the grading method, then packaging techniques, then improving the food quality. Further, if you see, production of the promotional and educational material in a variety of media for the benefit of exporters and importers. Yeah, again, I mean, since they have the resources at their in their hands, so they can provide all the promotional and educational material on the ground level to all the farmers. And if you see, guys, spice board, it also helps importers. So how it helps importers? So if you see, it helps importers and exporters in establishing mutual contact. So they act as a bridge between the Indian exporters and foreign importers, right? And it identifies competent supply sources of specific requirements for importers, and it also processes and forward foreign trade inquiries to reliable exporters. So whenever, if any inquiries for buying of these spices in a huge quantity comes to these spice board of India, so they would connect these foreign buyers with the Indian sellers. So if you see, they process and forward foreign trade inquiries to the reliable exporter. So can you imagine what's the benefit of registering with them? Because you can directly get your buyers for your products, right? So it also organizes a common platform for interaction between the Indian exporters and international buyers through World Spice Congress. So again, Spice Board of India, it conducts World Spice Congress. So this activity is like a trade fair where all the exporters from India and all the importers from all the foreign countries, they come on a single platform and they can carry out the business, right? So ultimately it is just it's just a promotional activity. So they are promoting the use of spices and they are connecting all the sellers and buyers, right? So also examine each complaint from importer for corrective and preventive action. Yeah, also, since they are responsible for connecting the importers and exporters, so if any foreign importer or foreign buyer, they have any complaint against any products, so they can definitely reach to Spice Board of India, and Spice Board of India would definitely take their feedback, and so that corrective and preventive action can be taken in future, right? And further, if you see, it also spearheads the quality improvement program of Indian spices, manages a comprehensive and up-to-date data bank for exporters and importers, bring together international bodies, exporters, policymakers through contact groups, and makes India's presence felt in the major international food fairs, conducts food festivals and cooking demonstrations. I mean, these are very, very basics. And also, guys, one important thing, I mean, you are reading all these points, right? You are getting a lot of knowledge, a lot of information from all these points. So now, if any of your family member or any of your friend, or I mean, whoever you know, they are associated with these markets, so just make them aware. I mean, government is providing a lot of facilities, but lack of awareness, it creates an issue for us, right? So just you can just guide each and every individual, whomever is associated with this export of these products, so that they can take benefit of these government schemes, right? Guys, these bodies are independent bodies. They do not come under FSSAI. They come under these different ministries. Since, as you know, FSSAI comes under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. These are independent bodies. They do not come under FSSAI. Someone just commented and asked me this question. So just make it a point. They do not come under FSSAI. They come under separate ministries. So now let's talk about Export Inspection Council. So as name suggests, export, again, export is related. So Export Inspection Council, its headquarters are in Delhi, and it comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So guys, it's a very common question, I mean common sense question. So since they are registered under different ministries, so they cannot come under FSSAI, right? So now if you see, EIC is an official export certification body of India, which ensures quality and safety of product exported from India. So guys, EIC, so again, this is another body which ensures that all the products which are exported from India, they adhere to particular standards, and they also provide a certification, right? So EIC, it was set up by Government of India under Section 3 of the Export Quality Control and Inspection Act 1963 to ensure sound development of export trade of India through quality control and inspection and other connected matter. So I mean, just go through it, guys. I mean, you need not to go into detail. Just whatever I have taught in this slide, even if you just read and go, you would definitely be able to attempt the questions. So if you see, the role of EIC is to ensure the product notified under Export Act are meeting the requirement of the importing countries in respect to their quality and standards. I mean, again, foreign countries, they have very strict standards, right? So now Export Inspection Council, they ensure that all the Indian exporters, they adhere to all these standards, and so that our products, or the whatever the products that we sell in the foreign market, they are not rejected. So EIC provides mandatory certification for various food items. So guys, you have to remember this, because again, since it is related to food, this can be asked. EIC provides mandatory certification for various food items, namely fish and fish products, dairy products, honey, egg products, meat and meat products, poultry, meat, egg, then gelatin, then crushed bones, then feed additives, pre-mixtures, while other foods and non-food products. So just remember these points. They can ask you a question from this, right? And again, this is for exports, not for Indian markets, for the export market, right? So guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. So just go through this presentation purely. Don't visit these websites, because there's a lot of information which is not at all important from examination point of view, right? So if you have any question, just WhatsApp me on this number. And yeah, I mean, don't go in detail, just go through this slide. And I hope you would have enjoyed this lecture. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you for your patience and time. So again, we'll connect tomorrow at same time, same place, right? Thank you so much, guys. Study hard and clear the exam. Good night, guys. Take care.